Welcome back to another episode of Buzz on Veterans. I'm your host, Alex Alexander from the KCo Ad Agency. I'm excited to bring George McAllister here today from McAllister, Brown & Associates. Welcome, George, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So what I'd like to do is kind of tell everybody about McAllister, Brown & Associates and the website, what they can expect, what you guys do.
Sure. Well, we are a veteran-owned company started by myself and my partner, Mr. Tim Brown. We spent a long time, I was on active duty for 22 years and then about 20 years as a contractor. And over that time, interacting with a lot of government program managers, it became pretty obvious that they all believe, and I do too, that the soul of American innovation lies in small business. The problem most small businesses have is they don't know who to talk to or how to even get started with taking their ideas, concepts, products, technologies to the government and being able to find someone in the government who's looking for that product or service. So we started this company to do a couple of things, predominantly to provide that voice for those small disadvantaged businesses that are out there who think they have something really cool and probably do, to be able to help them get into the government, understand how the government does work, how the government brings in technologies, how do they do contracting. So that's kind of, that is the main thing that McAllister Brown was formed to do, is to help those companies navigate through the rather Byzantine contracting process of the U.S. government and be able to get their technologies in front of program managers who need this stuff for our warfighters, for our existing warfighters. To accomplish that, we provide them with several, essentially soup to nuts on business development, all the way from the developing of a strategic plan, a pipeline, through introducing them to the right people, helping them with developing their costs and rates. That's my business. That's my partner's strength. He's been doing this for 30 years, both in and outside the government, on cost and pricing. And then, we help them develop the proposal, make sure that the proposal is compliant, and will not be kicked out because of some, technicality. And then finally, when they win, we will help them with the negotiations, even all the way up to hiring staff, because that's one of the problems we also have, is being able to rapidly hire staff. So that's one aspect of what we do. The second aspect is a relatively new thing that was brought to me by some of my friends over at SOCOM, and that is in helping critical companies bring their manufacturing back to the U.S. And the big challenge in that is being able to identify a manufacturing process in the U.S. that can allow them to manufacture their product at a price point that allows everybody to still make a profit. Because a lot of this stuff's coming from overseas and coming from places that is no longer our friend. So we have to be able to manufacture these critical items in the U.S. The good news in all that is we have the most innovative manufacturers and producers in the world. Our people in this country, our entrepreneurs that are out there, they will get the right machines. They'll come up with new processes, and they can make it happen. So it's going to be ultimately a win-win for everybody, I think.
Well, that makes 100% sense to me. I mean, you want to obviously promote the fact that all of the entrepreneurs here in the United States can grow. We want to promote American products and American innovation. And obviously, with our government, like you had said before, there are contracts that are open for those innovations to be used by the government itself. And I want to, I appreciate what you guys are doing here. You're calling it the MBA Advantage, I believe. So if you get an opportunity to go to McAllisterbrown.com, the very first thing on the front homepage talks about the MBA Advantage. And most of those things are exactly what you just said. So, you kind of mentioned the fact that a lot of our products and services have been brought from other countries, right? And right now,
Yes.
obviously, there has been a large push for America First. I think is probably the best way to put it. So I want to thank you again for putting your foot forward to assist in that process too. That's an awesome thing to do. So
I think I think it helps everybody.
100%, absolutely. So what would be everybody has advice to give. Everybody has things they tout. If you could only give one piece of advice to your clients, what would that very first nugget be?
Relentless. You if you really want to be successful in America, I guess when our fathers were doing it, it was you just needed an opportunity. Today, there's so many people. The marketplaces are so packed and crowded with people who, will push anything. If you believe in your product or your services, you must be relentless and never quit. Never quit trying to get in front of people and show what you can do, because that's what will ultimately win your success.
Yeah, all I can do is thank you again, George. I want to thank you very much for being on the show and for encouraging people to be relentless. I want to thank everybody else for tuning into this episode of Buzz on Veterans. If you'd like to know more about George McAllister with McAllister Brown & Associates, go to iwantobuzz.com. And see you next time on Buzz TV. Do something good for yourself and do something good for others.